All right, Aaron. All right, Aaron. Thank you. All right, so Aaron, if you're on LinkedIn, I have to do like a special way. So that means I have to go over here and then type in this, and then do Aaron, and then thankfully your last name is really easy to spell, so that should be not a problem at all. First try didn't work. Okay, so like I said, I have to type in over here. So Aaron, and then JABLONOWSKI / second attempt. Perfect. All right, here we go. All right, Aaron, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do your LinkedIn profile review today. If anyone else wants to do this, go ahead and drop your link into the chat. Feel free to do that. In the meantime, I'm going to do this for like an hour and a half today. So if you know of any other people that are job hunting, if you want to share this link with them, if you want to get it out to them, and then people may clip it, may use parts of this, and then, hey, let's see what happens next. All right, so Aaron, thanks so much for being the very first person on my very first live stream since I've started doing this again. Thomas. All right, let's go ahead and do it, Thomas. All right, same thing. I got to type this out over here on a different screen. I go here, and then I type in THOSCOFER. And there we go. All right, Thomas, open to work. Aaron, here we go. If anyone else wants me to do it, feel free. If you can't stick around, let me know that you got to go, so that way I stop talking to you personally. But feel free to stick around for as long as you can possibly stick around. But like I said, if you got to go, just let me know that you're leaving, so that way I can be like, all right, thank you. All right, Aaron. So whenever I do LinkedIn profile reviews, I'm always taking a look at the very first thing is this space up here. Like, what are you using it for? My number one recommendation for this is that you use this space like you would a billboard if you were driving down the street. All right. So if you were driving down the highway and you saw this space, it would be a billboard for what? For you, the service that you provide, the person that you are in life. And so the first thing that I would recommend is that put your name up there. Put it big. Put like Big Tom Ferguson up there. Use this space. Put your name. And then if you have certifications, if you have any certifications, look like you went to the SANS Technology Institute, most likely you have multiple certifications. This is a great place to take those emblems from GIAC. So you go over here to GIAC, and then you go to certifications, and then you go to badges. You can probably find all these things like computer. Yeah, there you go. So what's a digital badge? How do I get it? Where do I grab it from? Most likely you can go grab the actual file itself of what they look like, and then you can use them onto your profile. All right. So you can put them onto your profile so that it's easy for people to see. So they hit this page, they see your billboard, they take a look at it, they see your name, and they see your search, and they see your job title. So Thomas, same thing over here. Tom Ferguson, anything that you have related to your past experiences. Also, looks like we have a couple more LinkedIn profile reviews. So let's go ahead and do those. Showing up in the chat. So DEV-J. All right, so /500. So my first recommendation for you, user, why isn't this working? All right, everyone can get their own custom URL for their LinkedIn page, so I recommend that you do that. So 2BA5B. No, that's not working. That link's not working for you, LinkedIn user there. So let's see. So BKHUHRO. I think in the future I might have someone do this for me. All right, Badar. I'm going to say the name Badar. That may not be the correct way to say it. I apologize in advance. So if that's not the correct way to say it, cool. It looks like we have another one. Fantastic. All right, let's go to NAAYA-TA. Cool. All right, Ayan. Ayan. That's how I'm going to say it. I apologize in advance. All right, so Aaron. All right, so we have Aaron, Tom, Badar, and Anyan. It's probably not right. Okay, so we got senior SOC analyst, enterprise security operations, threat hunting, and deferred detection engineering, SIM, and AI assisted security automation. Okay, Aaron, you fall into either you do know how to do all these things, or you fall into the dreaded category of I put all the things, and then if I put all the things, then I'm not really sure what the thing is. And so be careful. It's good to put all the things that you're good at, but it also make sure that you're putting things that are relevant in the most relevant thing in the very first place. So think of it. You ever seen the ingredients on food, right? Like the rule of ingredients on for food is like whatever's the most in it should be like the first thing, and then it like trails off towards you get to the end. Same thing, Aaron. Make sure the thing that's in the beginning is like the thing I would hire you for most. Like this is, if I was going to hire you for one thing and one thing only, it would be senior SOC analyst, and then the rest of it assist in that thing. All right. So I don't want to just put down like a whole bunch of stuff. So let's go over here to Tom. Network support engineer. So that's the thing I would hire you for the most. That's like the number one trait. System support, tier 2 technical support, security operations, Windows, Linux, networking, endpoint management, SIM, security plus, network plus, and CDCP. That's cool. We'll talk about that in a second. Badar down here, business development, leadership. You didn't capitalize the L. That's just something I caught real quick. Capitalize the L. You capitalized everything else. AI-powered records management and cybersecurity, enterprise SaaS growth. You didn't capitalize. Do you need G capitalized? GTM focus. Everything is possible. Senior information security analyst, SOC operations, risk management. Yeah, you're all following into the same thing of like, let's put all of our search engine optimization in one place. And then we have information security specialist, GRC, TPRM. Can anyone hear me, by the way? I haven't like checked to see if my mic's working. Speaking of job hunting like a hacker, I built out a job hunting dashboard using my Hermes app, GBT, that scrapes web. Aaron, that's awesome. I don't know if you can share that with anyone else. Let's see if that link works. All right, so I got a couple more of these. So let's go ahead and add them. Okay, cool. Everyone can hear me. Jordan. Hello, Jordan. Let's go ahead and get Jordan's in here. So Jordan, Eley. All right, Jordan. We got Jordan here. So let's add Jordan to the mix. Let's see who else we got. All right, we got Rishi. That's how I'm going to say it. Sorry if that's not right. All right, so it's RRSC20. That's a question mark. All right, Rishi. We got Rishi. Are we using Twitch chat or Discord chat? We're using Twitch chat. So I'm doing everything in Twitch today just so that everyone can hear me and all the things in one place. Good afternoon, Jason, fellow Full Sail alumni here. Cool. Welcome, bud. Thanks so much for being here today. Were you one of my students or just someone that went to Full Sail as well? All right. So here we go. All right. So we have Aaron, Thomas, Badar, Jordan, Rishi, and Anya. All right, so let's go over here to Badar's, right? We already talked about Badar's, got a lot of stuff. Jordan's director of photography, specializing independent film and live events at Giant Slayer Media. Awesome. Hey, it's good to see you again. It's been a while. And then we have security analyst, pen tester, SC900B. Okay, so we'll talk about this and this in a second. And then we go back over here. And you also do the same thing as like GRC. Like I know that GRC stands for governance, risk, and compliance, but what does TPRM stand for? And then lead auditor, ITGC, good Lord, DPDPA, 500 audits, Link, Linux, Elk, Defer. And then down here, you got like a little dot instead of this medium dot. I don't know. I don't know if you meant to do that on purpose. Okay. Same thing. I always like it when the main graphic here is relevant to the work that you do, but don't get too clever with it, right? Like, cool. I get that you work in cybersecurity. Cool. Giant Slayer Media. So is this your own company? Because if it is, all right, so it is yours. It looks like you're the director of photography. If this is not your company, okay. So here's the rule of thumb. If you are not the owner of the company, that is the main thing here, then don't put an advertisement for the company you work for. Put an advertisement for you who works at that company. Okay. So, and it sounds like most likely you do own this company, and cool. But if you are not the one who works for a company, and this is for everyone in the future, right? Do not promote your company, promote you working at the company. Okay. Just be very clear that your LinkedIn profile is not an advertisement for your company. It's an advertisement for you working at a company. All right, back over here to Aaron. Aaron's got some cool stuff. Let's head over here. Before I move on, so I've already hit this home. Let's talk about pictures. All right. So a picture is a picture, but when you are thinking it, and Anand, you don't have to like explain to me that David Privacy Act, like GDPR and India, that's cool. Like, right. I guess, that's good. All right. So GDPR is this easy thing for most people to know, but if you don't work in marketing, if you don't know compliance, you may not know what GDPR stands for. So whenever you're using acronyms, and we'll talk about a little bit more as we go through, is that when you use an acronym, you are excluding the people who don't know what the acronym is, but you're including the people who do know what the acronym is. And so you have to be very careful that the recruiter that is hiring you for this position knows what that acronym is. Now, since you do care about acronyms, is in case no one knew this, you can do a search. You can do a search for things in LinkedIn based on acronyms. And I do highly recommend it that if you're searching for jobs, you put in the actual acronym of the thing that you're looking for. You go to jobs, and this is in India. So if I go to, they changed the location for things in LinkedIn. I hate when they do that. So here we go. Let's go here, and let's go to India. And so if you type in this and India, it should show you the results of the 25 jobs that are currently hiring for DPDPA in India. And so that's a real quick way for you to find things. Same things for if you're GDPR. So if that's an acronym that you care about, based on where you're from in the world, like, so if you're in England, right? Like, so United Kingdom might make more sense for GDPR. I don't know. But so if you do a search for the acronym that you care about, then you can do a search for it. Same thing for certifications. So if you have the GCIH, that's not going to count over there. So let's go over here to the United States. So doing a search for all of the United States, looking for the GCIH, I found 2 results of people looking for the GCIH. So if you're looking for the GPEN, you can type that in, or the GCFE. So if you're looking for that type of, so think through all the different certifications that you have. You can put those certifications into the search, and then you can find jobs related to those things that are looking for that certification. If you did already know that, put yes into the chat. If you did not already know that, then go ahead and put no into the chat. Okie dokie. All right, so we'll come back to that. So there's just a lot here. So it's a lot for a recruiter to have to know. Same thing over here with the CDCP. I've never heard of the CDCP. So if I went over here and I did a search for CDCP, you can also do a search for people who have it. So in case you've never done that, you can type in the certification, take a look at who has, in my network, who has the CDCP. And I can take a look at the people who are first connections to me who have the CDCP. And it seems to be a bunch of people. So cool. That's something I learned today that I did not know. All right, we got a couple more people that want to get their LinkedIn profiles reviewed. Hey, this is great. I'm gonna have a long stream today. If you need to leave at any time, please let me know, so I stop talking to you directly. All right, RSIKESHGA. Wow, there's a lot more letters. IKWADCTI. Whew, first time, nailed it. Oh my goodness. I deserve a brownie. And I'm going to eat one when this is over. Oh, I can just click on this one. Oh, that's awesome. Some of them I can click on. If you're in Twitch, I can just click on the links. But if you're in LinkedIn, I cannot. Okay. All right. And then we have one more here, another LinkedIn user. So let's go over here to Cash. Are you really Cash Money on LinkedIn? Because if you're really Cash Money, first of all, Nice, Ben. Well done. Well done. Cash money. Okay. So back to, let's go ahead and run through all these. Let's talk about pictures. Okay. So in the chat, I always love when the chat's interactive. So that makes me happy. All right. So in the chat, do me a favor and put, are you looking for a corporate job or a startup job? Like, do you want a corporate job or startup job? Just put the word corporate or startup, And you're like, what's the difference, Jason? You would know if you've worked in a corporate job versus startup job. Okay, so if you want a corporate job, you want to wear a button-up shirt, you want to wear either a tie or a polo or a blazer, or you're like, you know that, here, let's go ahead and take a look at it. Okay, it's the Patagonia sweater vest. Okay, if you've ever wanted to wear a Patagonia sweater vest, then you're looking for that corporate job. Now, you might work at a startup, but you're like senior leadership where you think you have to wear this sweater vest in order to like look legit whenever you go to an event, but you don't have to. You don't have to wear the sweater vest. It's up to you. Okay. So that's what I'm talking about. Like, what do you want to wear to work? Are you a t-shirt and jeans kind of person? Or are you a sweater vest and button-up shirt and tie kind of person? There we go. All right. Here's why it matters. Is that depending on the type of job you're looking for is how your LinkedIn profile should be. And I hate to say the word should because I don't want to create like some kind of shame for you. But what I'm saying is that when you're thinking through your LinkedIn profile, your LinkedIn profile is written for the intended audience. So if your desire is to work in a corporate-like environment, then you would want to create a corporate-looking LinkedIn profile. If your desire is to work in a startup, more laid back, more casual environment, then you would want your LinkedIn profile to be more aligned with that. And the reason why is because human beings, you, me, all of us, we tend to gravitate towards people who are more similar to us. And then since we find people who are more similar to us, we then bring them into our environment because we feel like they're going to fit in with us because we are looking for someone who's going to fit in with us. Does that make sense? I said a whole lot of words to say the thing. Does anyone remember high school? Because every once in a while you like think back to high school, and then does anyone remember the lunchroom at high school, like where everyone went to the cafeteria and there was all these different tables and everything? Like when you looked around the cafeteria in high school, you know what I'm talking about. That each table was representative of the kind of people that would be at those tables. And so they dressed similar, they acted similar, they were similar. Work is similar to that. And so when you are deciding what you want your LinkedIn profile to look like, to be like, how do you want to introduce yourself to people? You're doing the same thing of like, how do I present myself in a way that looks like I would work where they work? Okay, so when I look at this picture right here, I make an assumption you're looking for more of a corporate job. Okay, we're going to talk about this picture here in 1 second because you got a whole bunch of things that you broke. We got this like professional look right here. There's no shadows in the background. Cool. We'll talk about that. We got this picture here. You got your collared shirt. You got your blazer. You got the plain background that you've removed all the things from. We got Ben here who is like, I'm on the mic. This is who I am. This is the kind of work. Like, I'm a fun guy. You're going to have a fun time hiring someone like me. All right. And then we have nothing here, right? Like this might be because of your security settings. It also might be because you have no picture. And then this picture is, a graphic with a knife with something on the end of it. I'm not quite sure what that represents. And then we have this picture over here. Once again, same thing, little button-up shirt, got the white background, got rid of all the things out of it. Cool. All right. Here's the one thing I know for sure is that only like one of you actually took this picture on purpose. And I think that would be Jordan. Okay. Everybody else was like, let me go find a picture. Like maybe Rishi, not sure how to say it. Maybe you took this picture on perfect, but not quite sure if you took it on purpose. And then Ben, you're like, I don't want to do this. Let me find a shot. Like, there we go. That looks good. I like that one. And then Aaron, you're so laid back. you're so laid back. Like I would hire you to be most likely corporate IT or even startup IT. Like you got the headset in, you're like, I'm definitely know that I can call you for help desk and you're going to get back to me pretty freaking fast. By the way, one big thing here is that these are my opinions. You came here today for my opinion. You're getting my opinion. And the one thing I want you to remember is you do not have to agree with me. At no time today do you have to agree with me. The one thing I would like you to do is consider why you either agree with me or why you disagree with me. It's your choice. You can either go like, that makes no sense, this guy is the worst, or you go like, that makes perfect sense, why have I never thought of it that way, right? So, but it's your decision. Who are you as a human being that decides this is what I like or don't like? So back to the thing. All right, so Tom, you didn't take this picture on purpose. I know you didn't. That's fine. All right, let's go ahead and talk about Badir's here. Does everyone see that shadow in the background? Everybody see that shadow? Can everyone say shadow if you see the shadow? Just say it out loud. Be like shadow. Okay. I have a cat. Oh, okay, so I'm going to show my cat on screen real quick. He's a Maine Coon. So he just definitely, if you can see this, he's just really, really big. Okay. So, and then he wanted to get up onto the thing. Okay. So we got a shadow right here. Here's a couple things. If you're going to take a picture, please don't stand against a tree, a pole, or a wall. Please don't stand against a tree, a pole, or a wall. Don't do it. And then make sure you don't have any overhead lighting. I've talked about this before in the past. Godfather, lighting. All right, Jordan, you're a cinematographer. You know what I'm about to talk about, right? Like your goal here is not to have heavy overhead lights casting shadows into your eyes, making it look like you are a dark human being. You don't also want that light coming from the side showing that you only have like your good and bad all together at the same time. So you want to take a look at your lighting. What does the lighting look like when I take my picture? Am I scaring people or am I inviting people to get to know me better? Okay, so the other thing is take 10 feet off the wall. Do not stand against the wall. Take 10 feet away from the wall and then have someone take your picture, preferably on portrait mode, so that way it looks nice. It's okay for you to do this. Here's the other thing about your picture. Please make sure it's representative of who you are currently as a human being. Okay, so what most people do is they take a picture, they take it 5 years ago, they take that picture, they put it on the internet, and they say, this is me, and then they don't update it. And then when it comes time for your interview, all right, so someone's taken a look at your LinkedIn profile, they've gotten to know you, they're like, hey, this person seems like they would fit into our culture and the way that we do things here, so let's go ahead and reach out to them. And then you show up to the interview, and then they're like, where's your glasses? What happened to your glasses? Looks like your hair got longer. Do you have a beard now? You look different, okay? So same thing. If this is representative of what you look like now, then cool. If it is not, take a new picture. Take a new picture. Okay, so shadows, we don't want shadows. Take 10 feet away from the wall. Make sure that you don't have dark overhead lighting or bright overhead lighting that creates shadows in your eyes. And then Jordan, like, well done. Cool. This is like exactly like it's a picture that you took on purpose. You are representing yourself with the tie, the shirt, the blazer. You're like, hey, when you hire me, you're getting this professional. Now over here, when you hire me, you're getting the best damn help desk operator you've ever had, or senior SOC analyst. Let me go back to the thing that's like, this is a senior SOC analyst picture right here. This is a person I'm going to hire to come and do my professional videography work for me. Does everyone see the difference? Does that make sense? Like who you represent yourself in the picture is generally how people perceive you. Like Ben, I perceive you as a fun guy who doesn't care as much. And so if I'm going to hire you, I know I'm going to get a bit of a wild card when it comes to my security research functions because you're unpredictable. Okay. So when you think through like, how do I want to represent myself? Is this I am perceiving you based on how you've chosen to represent yourself today. So let's go through the rest of them. And then with no picture, you've chosen to not represent yourself visually. And then through this lack of picture here or a graphic that you drew yourself, I have to make a lot of assumptions here that you either drew this yourself or you found it yourself. And then why is there purple, blue stuff on the end of, is that poop or is that meat? I can't tell what that is. And so if we go over here to this one, I know that you've taken a picture that you've enlarged. It's a little soft, but you took it on purpose and it looks fine. Okay. All right. Any questions so far? Any questions so far? Any questions so far? Cool. If you have them, good. All right. Let's move on to down here to the people do tend to judge a book by its cover. Oh, 100% people choose a book by its cover. What's up, Meta? It's good to see you. That picture from years ago as a service desk analyst. I need to update my headshot. Exactly, Aaron, because you definitely look like a service desk analyst in this picture. 100%. Okay. Is that poop or is that me? Is that a good McDonald's ad? All right. Also, my daughter is currently getting ready right now. I say things out loud during the live stream just because if I see distractions around me, it's always good for me to put them in out there. All right, we're going to move on to the About Me section. Oh, Tom, we're going to come back to that. I want to see them all at once. Okay, all right. We're doing okay. All right, better. No, but constantly learning and building. Oh, let's stop for a second. Hey, everybody. I'm going to pause and I'm just going to stick on this. Do you see where it says constantly learning and building? I do not care that you're constantly learning and constantly building. If I was hiring you, I would not hire you to constantly learn and build stuff. That's not why I'm hiring you. I'm happy that you're constantly learning and building, but that doesn't make me money that you're constantly learning and building. Maybe it does in some way, it's inferred, but tell me what you're good at, not what you're learning to be good at. Tell me what you're good at. All right, so that was a little rant for a second. Also, Ben, you have no About Me section. Cool. Here's what the About Me section. That. Okay. I mean, it's not bad, but we're gonna get there. Also, you're like, but I learned this from you, and like, did you? So we'll get there in a second, and then we get down here. There's a no About Me section, and then we get to this other one, and there is an About Me section. All right. So here's the point about the About Me section. Imagine you're in an interview, and for the very first time, someone says, "So tell me a bit about yourself." And it's like the first time you've thought about saying the words. That's the point that I'm trying to make is like the About Me section is you just getting comfortable with saying who you are and what you're capable of. If the first time you're about to talk about yourself is in the interview, then it makes sense that you're like, I was like a senior SOC analyst, I think. Yes, I was a senior SOC analyst. Okay, I got that. And then I think I did it for like 10 years. 10 years sounds right. 10 years. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read over Aaron's. I'm going to read it out loud. Also, Anthony, thanks for sharing yours. Let's take a look here About Me section. We're going to work on that too. It looks like everyone just. I'm being real careful here that people aren't like, no, Jason, I learned this from you. But it's like, did you? The other thing is like, is this LinkedIn's new version of like giving you the About Me section? Because if it is, let's talk about that. Just because they said, hey, just click the AI enhance button doesn't mean that is the best way to do this. And then Aaron says, what are your thoughts on open to work banner? If you're going to tell people you're open for work, then tell people you're open for work. Like if anyone shames you for being open to work, you don't want to work there anyway. So the number one, okay, let's do this. The 3 steps to getting hired is to let people know you exist, to give them a reason to care, and then amaze them once they do, right? So getting people to know you exist is step number 1 for anybody. And so letting people know you're open to work is step number 1. Like, hi, I'm Aaron. I'm open to work. And so anyone that's like, I can't believe you're open to work. And you're like, do you know what it's like in 2026? Do you know what it's like in these industries right now? Do you know what it's like with what AI is doing to jobs and what senior leaders think they can do to their workforce? Do you know what it's like? Because if you're shaming me for being open to work right now, then I don't want to know you as a human being. Okay. So that's my thoughts on open to work. Also, I don't know if that's click clippable, but maybe that's a clippable one. Okay, so I'm going to read this out loud. And so for those of you that have never been a part of these live streams before, if this is your first time, being on a job hunt like a hacker live stream, especially doing LinkedIn profile reviews, just go ahead and put first into the chat. That way you like also break the ice for chatting. That's always my favorite thing. I don't even know how YouTube's working or if YouTube's ingesting. Is there comments on YouTube? Let's take a look. Not yet. YouTube's new. I haven't ever had a YouTube channel, so this is new for me. All right, back to work. All right, so senior SOC analyst. I'm going to read this out loud, and if you've never been a part of these live streams before, it can be awkward to have something that you've written maybe a while ago to be read out loud for someone else to read, for the internet, for others to hear. Okay. Senior SOC analyst and security operation team lead with 10 years of experience across enterprise monitoring, alert triage, incident response, digital forensics, threat hunting, SIM analysis, and detection-focused investigations. Okay. My work centers on helping security teams make better decisions under pressure. I investigate suspicious activity, validate risk, improve alert quality, and turn noisy security data into evidence analysts can act on. Okay. I'm interested in threat hunting, DFIR workflows, detection engineering, and practical AI-assisted security automations. Outside of work, I maintain a home SOC lab using pfSense, Security Onion, Zeek, Circata, Elastic, and local AI LLM tooling to sharpen hands-on investigation network monitoring, log analysis, and response skills. I enjoy building tools and workflows that help analysts move faster without sacrificing judgment, context, or investigative rigor. All right, let's pause for a second. In the chat, now that I've read this out loud, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being like, hey, that's fantastic, like that's no changes, and a 1 of like, I have no idea what that is. It made no sense. Oh, my daughter says hi. Susie says hi. All right. And she says good luck. She's currently job hunting too. So she has a job, but she's still looking.
I mean, sure.
Yeah. All right. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being like, this is the best thing I've ever read. 1 being like, I don't know what that meant. Go ahead and put your thoughts into the chat for Aaron to see. And then before I move on and explain, I'm going to talk about recruiters for a second. Okay. All right. So Aaron, you're a senior SOC analyst. And if we go over here to jobs, we see a bunch of different jobs here for senior SOC analysts. And then if I go over here to SOC analyst, we got, this was posted by Motorola. So it's a senior SOC analyst position. Over 100 people clicked apply. All right. So 100 people clicked apply. Aaron, is this what your experience? I don't know if you're currently job hunting right now, but it's like promoted by hire, response managed off LinkedIn. Okay. So that's some good feedback. And you're like, Motorola. All right. Cybersecurity. Motorola. Let's take a look through here. Like, how about we just go straight to the actual Motorola? Let's just go to Motorola. Guys. So if you've never been a part of these job hunting live streams before, I follow 5 steps to getting hired. Step number 1 is to identify the type of work that you want to do and build out a list of companies that you want to work for, and then pursue those companies one by one, starting at the bottom of your list and working your way up. All right. Step number 2 is to build a tailored resume based on the job that you find at the company that you want to work for. Step number 3 is to apply at the company's website. You do not apply at LinkedIn. You do not do what the other 100 people did. You apply at Motorola's website at the same job. So it's the very same job that's posted on LinkedIn, but you go to Motorola's website and you apply through Motorola's website. Step number 4 is you find an internal advocate at that company to introduce yourself to. Generally, that's a recruiter. Step number 5 is that you take all this information, right? You take all this information that you collect, and then you put it into a spreadsheet so that it's able to track all that information. That's the long version of doing these job hunting live streams. We go through step number 1, step number 2, step number 3, step number 4, step number 5 in great detail. Now, this today is a LinkedIn profile review. And so while you're improving your LinkedIn profile, I do want to give you some perspective on why I'm encouraging you to do these things to help you in the long haul of finding your job. And Dr. Zoidberg, what's up? It's good to see you again. Says, what about both? All right. So if you're going to do both, do the company's website first and then do LinkedIn, Glassdoor, Indeed, Monster, wherever else. Do it second, but go to the company's website first. And there's a lot of reasons to go to the company's website. In fact, let's just go ahead and talk about it right now while we're here. Okay. So we go to Motorola, we go to close, and then we go down here to careers. It's always like a hunt. You're like, where is it? There we go. So we have the career. We're like, read press release. I don't know what read press release is. So explore a job, cybersecurity. Cool. We go over here to cybersecurity, and let's just type in senior SOC analyst, and then we should be able to find search senior SOC analyst. It's the same job, and then we go over here and we find the senior SOC analyst. Okay, so Aaron, if you were looking for this job as a senior SOC analyst, here's the main thing: R63849. Okay, so R63849. Does everybody see this? Yeah, I'm going to zoom in. Should be able to see it. Wow, I lost. I zoomed in too far, everybody. I made a great mistake. Okay, so if we go over here, R63849, that lets you know that this is the job rec number for the specific job that you're applying for at Motorola. And if you're like, how did we get here? Let's go back to it. Okay, so I wanted to talk to you about recruiters, and I wanted to talk to you about how recruiters looked at LinkedIn, and then how recruiters looked at your profiles and how recruiters looked at your, like your titles and things like that. But if you don't know what a recruiter is, I wanted to explain what a recruiter is first. And if you do know what a recruiter is, then fantastic. But if you don't, they are magical job fairs with their sole purpose in life is to fill open positions. Okay, so these magical job fairs, and in fact, she called herself a magical unicorn of awesome. Irina, you were like my new first favorite person. But like Haley here and like Laura here, and then like Diane and then Vince, right? Like these, maybe not Vince, but Hannah over here, right? Like these people are magical job fairs. Their sole purpose in life is to fill positions. So cyber analyst position, I don't know what that means. Maybe that is what it is, but she's a recruiter at Motorola Solutions, and her job for the last 2 years and 11 months is to fill positions at Motorola. Okay, so Laura is a recruiter, same thing. Her job is to fill positions at Motorola. So she actually has been posting jobs that are available at Motorola, like this DFR Solutions Architect. Maybe it doesn't stand for DFR, it actually stands for DFR. Oh, that's drone as a first responder. That is a very different thing than DFIR. Okay. And then we go over here to Diane. She's also posting stuff about a month ago of like jobs here. Vince, I don't think Vince is the guy I'm looking for. He looks like a salesperson. Hannah here. Hannah works at HR, but she's also posting things about Motorola because of course she is. And then Madeline, she's a recruiter, and so she's definitely posting jobs that are available. But she only does it like 3 months ago, 4 months ago, 6 months ago. She's not doing it that often. Everything makes sense so far? Yep. And then Dr. Zoidberg says, here's something I've ran into where jobs are on LinkedIn, but not on the company website. That's true too. So it's possible that you may need to reach out to the recruiters and say like, hey, I see this job posted on LinkedIn, but it's not posted on your company website. Is it still available? Because sometimes like stuff gets cleared out of the company website, but they forget to clear it out at LinkedIn, or they just don't have those two things. Or the person who's supposed to handle LinkedIn is not the same person that handles the website, and they're just backlogged and they haven't gotten to things that they're supposed to. As a reminder, human beings are I'm looking for the word. What's the word where you aren't able to do your job as well as you would like to? right? Like you have an ideal version of doing your job, but then you actually do the job. And so this is the best that you can do the job. I just can't think of the word. It's not incompetent. It's just like you fall short of your own, thing that you want to do. Yeah. All right. So back over here to Irina. So Irina, she may or may not be, but this person is definitely a recruiter. And what's nice is that they posted this 2 weeks ago. If y'all didn't know this, inept, maybe Brown Coyote, maybe it's inept. This might be new information for you. So if you are currently job hunting, one of my favorite things to do is actually find the recruiters that are responsible for the position that is going to hire me. And so I get through here and you're like, oh, look, this person is literally hiring. Okay. So if you scroll through here, they introduce you to the person who's hiring, and then you can reach out to that person directly. So as I scroll through here and I get introduced to different jobs and different people and who works where and who does what, I get a chance to find like, who are the people that work at Motorola that I might want to work with in the future? So if you didn't know this existed, Fallible. Thank you, Dr. Zoidberg and Steve. Fallible. That's exactly mid. Mid. Actually, yeah. Yeah. Justin Brown, the targeted approach as to, So the goal here, the goal always with the Job Hunt Like a Hacker live streams is a very targeted approach. It's not a spray and pray. If you don't know what the term spray and pray means, is that you just like put everything everywhere. Like you put the same resume in every single inbox. You put the same resume in every single LinkedIn profile. You put the same resume everywhere and you just hope that one of them hits. That's not what we do on these live streams. We make a very, very concerted effort to target a very specific job and then find the recruiters who are responsible for those jobs and then introduce ourselves to the people responsible for their jobs and then put our best foot forward to the people responsible for those jobs. Okay. So that was a huge tangent to just explain what a recruiter is. A magical job fairy whose sole purpose in life is to fill positions. So we got Madeline over here. And so let's say Madeline needed to fill a position and she was just going to go cold onto LinkedIn. And so she needs to find a senior SOC analyst. And so she types in the word senior SOC analyst into LinkedIn. And instead of looking at jobs, she looks at people. And so when she looks at people, she sees, well, who are people in her network, right? So first means people who are actually in her network, which means she can send a message and it does not cost anything, okay? So she can send a message to Ali, she can send a message to Adeline, she can send Saeed, Salman, like Coastal, right? Like she can send a message, it doesn't cost anything, and it helps her just use LinkedIn in a way that's like, well, I'm already connected to these people, let me send these messages. Now, do you see where it says senior SOC analyst in the title? Like, do I really think about me as a person? And I want you to think about yourself as a person. And I get here, do you think I really want to read through all this? If I'm just scanning, if I'm like scanning, do I really want to read all this? Like Costello here, just senior security operations center. Like he spelled it out for me. Like, thank God he just spelled out senior SOC analyst. It is the easiest thing to find right now. And I go down here to like senior SOC analyst, security operations center analyst, and Emory Riddle, right? Senior SOC analyst lead. It's super easy to see. So I want you to look at LinkedIn through the eyes of the recruiter, not through your eyes of what you want to say. Look through it through the eyes of the recruiter who's coming to your profile and trying to find you quickly. They're trying to hire you and they want to hire you. But you got to help them too. Okay, so I go to page 2 over here and I see there's Aaron. Hello, Aaron. It's good to see you again. And then we got SOC. But do you see where it says like current? Okay, there's a lot of stuff going on in the LinkedIn profile. If anyone doesn't know what the term SEO stands for, meaning, right? Like, what does the term SEO? SEO stands for search engine optimization. It is the practice of refining your website and its content so it ranks higher in unpaid organic search results on engines like Google. Okay, so think of your LinkedIn profile as your website and your content that is hoping to land higher in the unpaid organic search of LinkedIn. Hopefully that makes sense to you. So if I go back over here to Aaron, these words are a part of that search engine optimization for the recruiter to be able to find you, which also includes your About Me section. There we are. I finally got back to the About Me section. If you've stuck with me for like the last 15 minutes, I appreciate you for just like hanging in there with me, because I read some About Me sections, I read Aaron's, and then I went on this tangent about recruiters and profiles and all this other stuff, and we just got back. Okay. So the goal here was to talk about recruiters and search engine optimization. So think of LinkedIn as your landing page, right? Your LinkedIn profile is your landing page. In the world of marketing, if you don't know what a landing page is, let's go to landing page so you can understand. Landing page is a standalone web page designed specifically for a marketing or advertising campaign. It's like a very specific part of an advertising campaign of like, out of all the pages on our website, we want you to come to this one page because it has all the details, all the information on it, and it makes it just as cost effective as possible for this entire campaign that we're doing. So you, job hunter, you're currently launching a advertising campaign about yourself. And your LinkedIn profile is your landing page for yourself. And the words on your landing page are advertising about your services and what you can provide to a company that wants to hire you to provide a service. Is this all making sense so far? I'm going to take a sip of tea while I just wait for you all to go like, yep. That's good stuff. Also, feel free to subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe to Twitch, whatever it is that you want to do. I'm going to be doing these potentially 3 times a week for the foreseeable future. So if you have friends or family that are currently job hunting, invite them to come check it out, because they may not listen to you, but they'll listen to me. Isn't that messed up? Isn't that messed up about friends and family where you're like, hey, I have this really good advice for job hunting. And they're like, because you know what? My daughter does the same thing. I'm like, hey, sweetheart, I've helped like 339 people find jobs. It could be 340. And she's like, I got it. And I'm like, I get that. I do. I get it. So, all right. So we have this profile over here. Here's the most important part about your About Me section. Here's the most important part of your About Me section. Okay. I'm actually going to go over here and I'm going to get like a little thing so I can write on it, because I want you to remember this. Super important. I want it to be so like memorable that I'm going to have this Word doc here. Okay, let's talk about your About Me section. Okay, here we go. I'm going to increase the size of it just to give it prominence so that you can see it really easy. All right, here's the question that you have to answer. Aaron, here's the question that you have to answer. And you almost answer it right here. You're real close to answering it in your second, but in your very first sentence, okay, this is for everyone. It's the first sentence in your About Me section. It's a question that you have to answer, and I pretty much from what I've seen so far, none of you have answered it, and I'm going to go through all your different profiles and see if you actually answered this question. And if you did, I'm going to clap. I'm going to give you kudos. I'm going to tell you that I appreciate you. I'm going to do all those things. If you didn't do it, then I'll just tell you to do it. So here's the question that you all have to answer. If you're currently job hunting or just building out your LinkedIn profile and you already have a job and you're already happy with your job, but you still want to like make sure that you're ready for in case anything ever happens to your job. So here's the question that you have to answer. And this is the question I have to answer. It's the question everyone who works has to answer. Here's the question. It's a really simple question. What do I get paid to do? Has anyone ever like thought about it? What do I get paid to do? Because we're real good at like, I'm a senior SOC analyst. Like, okay. But what do you get paid to do? So let's go over here. What do I get paid to do? What do I get paid to do? Some of you right now can't imagine you can answer this question. Sometimes it requires a very long walk or like 3 days alone in a cabin in the woods where you like just really consider what you do. I had a couple of years ago, I had surgery, and during the recovery period, I laid in bed staring at the ceiling, thinking to myself, what do I do at work? What do I get paid to do? And when I was like sitting there, I was like, what do I get paid to do? Oh my God. I don't know what I get paid to do. Then what do I do? Like, why am I? And so Rishi, and if I'm saying that incorrectly, hunt vulnerabilities and report THME. THME? I don't know what THME. Report time? Maybe it's time. Report time. Every once in a while, there's acronyms that I have no idea. All right. So Aaron, what do you get paid to do? Because when I read this, senior SOC analyst and security operations team lead with 10 years of experience across enterprise monitoring, alert triage, incident response, digital forensics, threat hunting, SIM analysis, and detection-focused investigations. I don't know what you do. Right. Hunt vulnerabilities and report them. Got it. That makes more sense. All right. I'm a network and system support professional with 15 plus years of hands-on experience supporting users, endpoints, applications, networks, and business critical services. Still don't know what you do. Badar, I specialize in business development for AI-driven cybersecurity and enterprise records management solutions, helping organizations transform how they manage, secure, and govern critical data. Well done. Well done, Badir. Well done. That is what you do. Okay. It could be a little bit better, but let's get on to that. Let's see. Brazo, Jordan, and Giant Slayer Media leverages over 15 years of experience in videography, cinematography, and sound design to craft compelling visual narratives. As director of photography, contributions focus on translating creative visions into impactful storytelling while collaborating with teams to achieve technical and artistic excellence. Jordan, if you're still here, nope. This is you promoting your company, not promoting you at your company. Even though that's your company, what do you do at your company? So I always recommend start off with what you do for clients. So it's okay for you to say what we do for clients, but what do you do for clients? Like, do you collaborate with teams to achieve technical and artistic excellence? Is that the best way to say it? Maybe. We'll come back to it. All right. Constantly learning and building. No. I disagree. Not that. Okay. Not having one at all. That's a choice. And then over here, I track threat actors and pivot on indicators to turn raw data into actionable intelligence for security teams. I like it. But let's come back to the rest of it. Okay. And let's go over here to Anthony. That's probably Anthony. Know about me section. Also recommend you get one. And then we have Anthony over here. I help small to mid-sized businesses in healthcare and professional services stay secure and tech ready without the complexity. I like it. Could be a little bit better. Let's see if we can improve it. And then over here, as an information security specialist, I thrive on translating complex technical challenges into practical business-focused implementation solutions, whether I'm auditing for TPRM. Please spell it out the first time. SEBI, spell it out the first time. RBI, spell it out the first time. IRDAI, spell it out the first time. ITGC, spell it out for the first time. Or ISMS, spell it out for the first time. Investigating cyber incidents or fortifying corporate networks with layered security strategies. I think I like this one the least. And let me explain why. Wait. I take that back. Here's why I like it the least. And here's why I dislike it. Here's why I like it the least, but it's not bad. Okay, so here we go. The reason why I like it the least is because I come from a startup environment. I like to work in a startup environment. I like to talk in a way that's clear and concise. That's who I am as a person. This reads like you want to get a job at a corporate company where they use a lot of words but don't say much. Okay, so that's the difference. This is good for that corporate job, not so good for the startup job. And I do need to go back and talk about those things. Okay, so if you're looking for a startup job, then you're going to be more casual in the way that you talk about yourself. If you're looking for a corporate job, then you're going to look for a more corporate way to talk about yourself. And Tom, this is hard on my eyes. This is hard on my eyes, and here's why. Have you ever seen, like, let's say you're sitting in a classroom environment or a presentation, and all of a sudden a slide comes up, and let's say that slide had this much information on it. All right, let's say you were back in college, you're in a presentation, and a slide comes up and it's got this much information on it. How many of you just internally in your brain go, too long, didn't read? Like, nope, that's just too much. I'm not gonna do it. That's too long, didn't read. And then we go over here, like, I like the line breaks. At least the line breaks say to my brain, you're going to be okay. It's going to be a lot, but you're going to make it through. This just goes, this is an arduous journey that your brain does not want to go on. Because this is like, whoa. Okay, let's get started. I'm a network and systems. No, I don't want to do it. It's just, I don't even want to get started on the journey. And then we're over here like, all right, let's go to line 2. Business development with 17 plus years of experience driving technical innovation, SaaS growth, and enterprise digital transformation, proven track record in go-to-market strategies, strategic partnerships, lead generation, and client engagement for AI-powered records management system, skilled in B2B sales, SaaS, product positioning, business development, stakeholder management, and revenue growth. But dear, if you're getting a job in a corporate environment, you're killing it right now as far as hitting the buzzwords and making sure you cover everything. Combines, who combines? Who? Are you talking in the third person or second person? Fourth person? Which person? You just started with combines. Who combines? Results driven. I just realized business development with results driven cybersecurity skilled in. Oh, these are like bullet points that got turned into sentences. You lost the humanity at some point, Badir. And if I'm saying that incorrectly, I apologize. You lost the humanity. Jordan, I'll come back to it. Past work as a videographer and video assistant Past work as a videographer and video assistant has honed a deep whose past work a deep understanding of lighting, camera operation, and visual composition, passionate about delivering. Okay. Do I review GitHub profiles also? No, but maybe one day. According to you, what could be the first 2 lines of the About Me section for a penetration tester from a startup perspective? I find vulnerabilities before the bad guys do, and I put it into a report in a way that's easy to read, actionable, and leads to mitigation. All right. That was my first sentence. I perform penetration tests that lead to the discovery of vulnerabilities before the bad guys can, and I put it into a report that makes it easy to read, actionable, and leads to mitigation of those vulnerabilities. And I wouldn't say vulnerabilities twice. Okay. Does that make sense? Did that answer your question? All right. So let's move on. That one again. Not one at all. Here we go. I work at Tata Consultancy Services at the intersection of CTI and detection engineering using OSINT. Unless that company that you work for is so brand recognized that people would go like, oh my goodness, you work at Tata Consultancy Services. There is no need for you to put the name of your company into your About Me section because this is your About Me section. It is not the company's About Me section. Now, if you work for a brand that's so well known and recognized that people look at it and go like, damn, look at that. That's awesome. There's no need to put it. Now, like if you work at Netflix or if you work at like a Fortune 50 company, like then maybe that makes sense to put the company. But if you don't work at a Fortune 50 company or at the top, like at the top of your game, like if this is the company that everyone knows within that like that world and that industry, then yeah, that might make sense to put the name of the company, or it's like in the top 5. But if it's not, don't use your About Me section to promote your business, the company that you work for. Anthony doesn't have one. Anthony, as a senior IT systems engineer, I design and maintain reliable, scalable IT infrastructure for organizations with up to 50 employees. I like that, with up to 50 employees. I really like that. Over 7 years, I've supported 50 clients with Microsoft 365 and Google Workspace Administration, Active Directory Management, network infrastructure, firewalls, VLANs, enterprise Wi-Fi, server visualization, full lifecycle deployment. Do you see that I don't even need to scroll down to all these parts? Because it's already here. I'm really enjoying this. I reduce downtimes through proactive monitoring, documentation, and user training, because even the best technology fails if people can't use it. A little bit of a slogan there, but okay. What sets me apart, I combine deep technical expertise with clear communication developed through technical writing at Henry Schlein Micro MD and security awareness training at Human Rights Watch. I translate complex systems into actionable guidance for both IT and non-technical stakeholders. Currently seeking roles where I can apply my infrastructure, project management, client communication skills to support mission-driven or fast-growing organizations. When I'm not managing systems, I'm exploring Log Island trails or automating tasks in my home lab. Let's connect if you're hiring for IT. Anthony, generally, I feel like this is too much for me to want to consume, but you did it in a way that like broke it down to a clear sentence, another clear sentence. You then gave me the bullet points to like help me understand like the rest of everything else. You also talked about how you reduce downtime, what sets me apart, currently seeking roles. Like each section had its own need for information and answered a question. So instead of just coming over here and reading this, like if anyone's looking for if you're going to copy anybody, if you were going to copy someone's homework, copy Anthony's homework. Okay. This is one of those, like, it starts off with, I help small to mid-sized businesses in healthcare and professional service stay secure and tech ready without the complexity. Like, this is what, going back to that whole thing, what do I get paid to do? Anthony has addressed it. I help small to mid-sized businesses in healthcare and professional services stay secure and tech ready without the complexity. I'm not sure if without the complexity is the best way to end this sentence, but it's pretty damn good. All right. As a senior IT systems engineer, I design and maintain reliable, scalable IT infrastructure for organizations with up to 50 employees. That up to 50 employees is the, like, I would almost see if you can combine these two sentences into one. Like, I'm sure it's okay for them to be both, but if there was a way for you to say this more succinctly into one sentence that people would want to read, that's my only recommendation, is that instead of saying that twice, can you say it once? And then we go over here to this one. As an information security specialist, I thrive. I don't care what you thrive on. Like, that's me personally, right? Like, someone who's hiring is like, I don't care that you're passionate. I don't care that you're learning. I don't care that you're aspiring. I don't care that you thrive. What I care about is, what am I going to pay you to do, and are you going to do it? What am I paying you for? What am I paying you for? It's not bad, right? Remember, I talked about if you're looking for a corporate job, this might land in a corporate job. But also, please, everybody, just tell people what you do and what you get paid to do. And if you don't know, go for a long walk. And when you go for that long walk, you may discover what you do. Okay. And TSC operates globally with a workforce of 580,000 employees as of March 20. Okay, so they might be the leader. All right, that part makes sense. I didn't know. I'm ignorant to that. All right, I didn't know that Tata Consultancy Services was huge. My CTI work covers. Okay, I like that. My CTI work covers My CTI work covers threat actor profiling using MITRE ATT&CK TTPs. Don't assume that everyone knows what a TTP is. It's tools, tactics, and procedures. I think across initial access, persistence, and lateral movement techniques. OSINT-based indicator pivoting across OSINT-based indicator pivoting across IP infrastructure, domain certificates, and malware. That one just reads weird. Intelligence to detection pipeline, raw IOC. Once again, indicators of compromise. Spell it out for people. Indicators of compromise to working Splunk ES correlation search in the same workflow. Google SecOps Chronicle investigation using YARL logic built for CTI findings. Oh, please spell out CTI to start with. Okay. Whenever using acronyms, spell it out the very first time, and then you can use the acronym the rest of the time. If anyone here is in the military, the world does not run on acronyms. I was in the Army for 6 years. I get it. There's a lot of acronyms. There's even acronyms of acronyms. There's also, it's an initialism. Unless the letters together spell something, then it's really an initialism. It's not an acronym. Anyway, there's a lot of initialisms and acronyms in the military, and people who are like, I'm going to use all of them in my profile. No one knows what any of that means. Not a single person outside the military knows. And so does the recruiter know what CTI is? Does the recruiter know what OSINT is? Does the recruiter know what you don't have to spell out DNS. DNS is one of those, like, if you don't know what DNS is, this whole thing's falling apart. But feel free. Whenever, like, does anyone know what an IOC is? Does everyone know what an IOC is? Everyone in the chat, do y'all know what IOCs are? I already explained it. It's indicators of compromise. But if you didn't and you had to look it up, you're like, I don't know. Nighthouse says, do I review personal portfolios like resume-esque, like bio skills and blogs? Not yet, but I'm going to start doing these on like Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And so I might have a lot of more time to be able to do that. All right, it is now currently 2:24 p.m. Eastern time. All right, we are doing LinkedIn profile reviews. Everybody doing good so far? Anyone need to leave? No? All right. So back here, let's go ahead and do one more thing. I'm going to go to ChatGPT, and I'm just going to take this and say, rewrite this to be the About Me section of my LinkedIn profile. Keep it to 5 sentences or less, and focus on the kind of work I get paid to do as a senior SOC analyst to begin the paragraphs. Keep it concise and conversational for getting a job at a startup style company. All right, let's see what we get. Someone explained to me that like AI is just, it's like using the, what do you call it? The slot machine at a casino, is that you just like pull the handle, see what happens. And then you're like, no. And then you like hit some buttons and you pull the handle and then see what happens. And then you're like, no. And then you pull the hand, like do some things. Then you pull the handle. And then all of a sudden you're like, that's it. And that's where the dopamine rush comes from. And that's why it's addictive. All right. I get paid to investigate threats, separate real risk from noise, and help security teams make fast, confident decisions during incidents. Hey, Aaron. Is this more accurate to what, like, instead of say I get paid to investigate threats, say I investigate threats, separate risk from noise, and help security teams make fast, confident decisions during incidents? Maybe that is what you do. As a senior SOC analyst and security operation leader with 10 plus years of experience, I specialize in threat hunting, incident response, digital forensics, SIM, and cool. Right? Like, most likely I would take this. This would be my, not too bad. I would go over here to this section. I would then drop this in and say, it's too big. That's what I would say. It's like too big. All right. And then let's shrink this down to a normal size. Let's go to 10.5. That's too small. All right. So we'll go to 12. And we're going to separate, like, I investigate threats. And then I go down here. And then I go down here. And then here. So I investigate threats, separate real risk from noise, and help security teams make fast, confident decisions during incidents. As a senior SOC analyst and security operations leader with 10 years of experience, I specialize in threat hunting, incident response, digital forensic SIM, and I enjoy building practical workflows, automation, AI-assisted tools that make an analyst more effective without replacing good judgment. I'm always looking for opportunities to help startup teams build smarter, scalable security operations that keep pace with growth. Do you see how I literally put the word startup in here or corporate in here? Is that if you are the people who are coming to your profile, if they're like, oh, we're a startup, or hey, we're a corporate environment, it helps them. You know how they always say representation. Damn it. This is gonna be clipped, isn't it? And this is gonna be clipped, and then people are gonna just watch me try to say representation. There it is. That was easy. Representation. Representation matters. Same thing for you, right? Like going to your profile. Stop eating that. It's my cat. I didn't yell at him. I was just trying to get him to stop. I don't want people on the internet say he yells at his cat. All right. So as a reminder that representation matters, exactly, right? Like let people who come to your profile. Do you mind? Okay, in case you haven't seen him, I know it's really small, but look at this guy. Look at how big he is. He's huge. And right now he is chewing on my banner behind me. Okie dokie. So if you are a corporate person, then please put the words like corporate or that kind of stuff. Does that make sense? If that makes sense, put the word yes into the chat. Also, rice dishes for rosemary chicken. Yes, I was looking for rice dishes for rosemary chicken. Jason, unrelated, but do you really find GPT Go to be a worthwhile investment over the free tier, given that you don't have premium pro models and it's just free? So I got to a point where I was just like running into just limitations. And so I was like, it's $9 a month. So I recently did a workshop for job hunting. I made $300 during that. And so I was like, I'm just going to take the $300 I made during the, the workshop. And then I got Claude with it and I got ChatGPT paid. And I was like, let's see what happens. So at some point next year, I may cancel it. We'll see what happens. Okay. Let me regroup. All right, Aaron, was this actionable in any way for you? So I'm going to go over here, and now that I have this prompt ready to go, I'm just going to do the same prompt. So here, now do it to this one. I get paid to solve, instead of I get paid, right? Like you can take that part out. I solve complex technical problems across endpoint networks, cloud services, and business critical applications. With 15 plus years in network and system support, I specialize in troubleshooting issues with spanned multiple technologies, following the evidence to identify root cause and restore services quickly. My background includes supporting large-scale collaboration platforms, packet-level network analysis, and high-volume incident response with maintaining strong customer satisfaction. I also bring a growing cybersecurity focus, combining hands-on SOC training and industry certifications with a practical approach to detection, investigation, and security operations. I'm excited to help fast-moving teams build reliable systems, solve difficult problems, and scale with confidence. Okay, so Tom, I took all this that I didn't want to read just because of the length and then I turned it into this that I might want to read. Okay, remember, this is what Jason, I solve complex technical problems. Cool. Go down here, like nice, cool. There. All right. Does this feel easier to read than this? Yeah. Now, is there some things to put back into this? For sure. Could like the certifications that you have get brought back in? Like, cool, it might go at the bottom. So let's go ahead and take a look at this where we go back over. I say I hold, like it just goes at the bottom. Or let's do it this way. And put this into a bullet point format. And I know what you're thinking, Jason, you could just do that yourself. And I was like, yeah, but I'm like on a live stream right now, and it's just faster for me to have ChatGPT do it. So I'll just go ahead and do it that way. All right. So you could do it this way where it spells it out, and then that might just be easier for people to read. As a reminder, your profile is designed to be read easily. Okay, back over here to why not just put them in the certification section? You could, Dr. Zoidberg, you could put them in both, right? Because don't always rely on people to go to both. The other thing too is up here in this part right here, Badar, everything is possible. We have a solution for you. This looks like your company. And so do you want to promote your company, or do you want to promote you at that company? And so is this what Badar does? Like, do you do this work, or does the company do this work? And you do this work for the company, so you do this work for the clients. So this is a great place for you to put. I would love for you to put everything is possible with Badar. With Badar, everything's possible. I have a solution for you. I have a solution for you. Like, that's better than you just going over here and just promoting your company. All right. And then Jordan, we already talked about that. Let me do a new chat. Rewrite this to highlight what a cinematographer gets paid to do in a way that would be easy and informative to read on a LinkedIn About Me section to help people decide to hire me. All right, let's see what this has. I help directors, brands, and production teams turn ideas into cinematic stories that connect with audiences. Yes, Jordan, that's what you do. You help directors, brands, and production teams turn ideas into cinematic stories that connect with audiences. With more than 15 years of experience in cinematography, videography, sound design, I specialize in creating visuals that elevate a project's message while ensuring every shot serves the story. As a director of photography, I collaborate closely with directors and creative teams to shape the visual language of production, from lighting and camera movement to lens selection, composition, on-set execution. My role is to transform creative concepts into polished, emotionally engaged images while balancing artistic vision with technical precision. Whether working on commercials, documentaries, branded content, or narrative films, I bring a collaborative mindset, attention to detail, and a commitment to delivering high-quality productions on time and on budget. If you're looking for someone who can lead the visual storytelling and help your project look at its absolute best, I'd love to connect. And you're like, nice. And then we go down here to this, and we go, make it more concise and conversational. And we just get down, I help directors, brands, and production teams bring stories to life through cinematic visuals. Okay. So here's my encouragement to all of you who are currently watching this. It's okay to take like what you think you do, and how about we do this? Nighthouse says, what do you think about putting something about a credential academy into your education section, something like Coursera, Udacity, AWS Academy, because unlike certification, which doesn't classify as anyways, you can stack them up easily. Yeah, Nighthouse, you can also do this other thing under your profile. Let's see. So do you see where it like says self-employed? If you were doing these things during a career break, you can put career break, and then you can list all the things that you did during that period of time, including education, things you learned, certs that you got, all that kind of stuff. You can do that. So as a experience that you've gained on your own, you could totally put that in there. You can also put it under your education section. You can also put it into your other sections. If y'all don't know, there's these extra things here. It's like activity, ad section. So during your ad sections, you're like, but I do have certifications. So you could go down to add certifications or additional. You can like, I have patents, I have honors and awards, I have volunteer experience, I have test scores and languages and organizations. So you can go through here and like, I've add courses, add recommendations, add licenses and certifications. Okay. So there's a lot of additional things you can add to your profile. Any questions before I move on? These are good questions. Thank you, Nighthouse. All right. Moving on while the questions come in. Okay, so Badir, we got that same thing. I go over here to this one, and I would just concise this up. What do I get paid to do? You already started off with what you get paid to do. I'd see is there just a better way to do it? Oh, I know what I wanted to do. Some of you don't even know how to get started on your About Me section. So let's go over here to penetration tester. Let's see if there's a penetration tester listed under company. All right, so I go to penetration tester. If you don't know, it's an ethical hacker. We go to jobs, and then we click on, all right, so we have this senior penetration tester, senior. All right, so a lot of senior penetration testers. Senior. I wonder if we can do minus senior and it will remove it. It used to work in the past where you could, but no, it doesn't. It used to. It doesn't, and it makes me sad. All right, so let's go to offensive security analyst because it's similar. And then we go over here to this. All right, does everyone see this part right here? And then see this part? Everybody good? Does everyone see this part? Like a yes, no. Be good in the chat if you see this. Don't forget to follow the Twitch page or YouTube channel. That'd be awesome. All right. So for some of you, if you don't know how to start talking about yourself, but you find, like, let's say you come across this penetration tester, or you come across SOC analyst, you come across photographer, you come across whatever it is, right? Like you come across a job description, and as you're reading it, these key responsibilities, you're like, that sounds a lot like the work that I do. Then what I recommend that you do is you take that information, you go to ChatGPT and say, please rewrite this into the first person and highlight what I would get paid to do as the first sentence to make it very clear and easy for someone reading my LinkedIn About Me section to understand my skills and experience. Keep it concise and conversational for startup type environment, and no more than 5 sentences. Okay. So let's go ahead. I always like to improve this, but I know I don't need to. All right. Does everyone understand what I did? Okay. So here's what I did. I found a job description that is similar to the kind of work that I do, or you do. And so you get to that key responsibilities and you're like, oh yeah, this is similar to what I do. So then you go over to ChatGPT and you say, please put it in the first person. And then This, for those of you that don't know how to get started, you don't know how to how do I talk about myself? How do I talk about my skills and abilities? How do I even put anything in my about me section? This is not something that I'm used to doing, is talking about myself. Then find something that's very close to who you are and similar to what you think you do. And then just have ChatGPT put it in the first person and in a way that makes it sound more like who you are. And it says, I get paid to think like an attacker, finding and validating security weaknesses before they can be exploited. I use offensive security techniques to assess web applications, APIs, cloud environments, networks, and infrastructure, proving real-world risks through hands-on testing and adversary emulation. I partner with security teams, blue teams, and business stakeholders to prioritize the vulnerabilities that matter most and strengthen detection and response capabilities. I also identify expose assets, validate third-party risk, and help improve offensive security processes, playbooks, and reporting. My focus is turning complex security findings into clear, actionable outcomes and reduce risk. We good? Everybody good? All right. I feel like I've beaten this one into the ground. Moving on. All right, you have these featured here. Cool, Aaron. I like that you featured some things. That excited to share a project I built. I'm excited to share a project I've been curating. Cool. I highly recommend, if you can, go to your own profile, go to these section. You can add a section. I believe it's under core. You can say I already have it, so it's on mine. But I put a featured section, and so here you can say add a post, add a newsletter, add an article, add a link, add an image, add a document. So you can add featured things here. I featured my job hunt, a hacker article. I got my newsletter here. I got a book that I wrote. And then you get down to the activity feed. So the activity feed is here. So Aaron, you got the featured section. Cool. You can feature your resume in your section right here. You could have your resume as a PDF document featured in your featured section. So if someone comes to your profile, they can just click on that and they can download your resume. And if you don't know how to get your resume, there's a easy function where you just click on these three dots and say save to PDF. And it turns your whole profile into a resume. If you didn't know that existed, you just go to the three dots, save to PDF, and then it turns your entire LinkedIn profile into that. And so if you want to know what you can do with it next, is you go over here to start a post, then you go over here to plus, then you go over here to add a document, then you go to choose file, and then you go here to profile, and then you go to open, and then it imports that as a PDF document. And so now I have this 8 or 9 page PDF document. And how many pages? 11 pages. And I go to Jason's current PDF version of LinkedIn profile. And then you go to done. And then I say, did you know that you can export your LinkedIn profile as a PDF document and then share it on. All right. I think I'm going to take my phone number and my email address off before I share it. But you could do this, right? You can take your whole entire LinkedIn profile, export it as a PDF document. Then you could bring it into a LinkedIn post. Then you could share it, and then that's how you share your resume on LinkedIn in a way that people want to interact with and click on and share and repost. You could even hey, could you share this with your network? I'm looking for a current job. Here's my top 3 titles. Also, did you know that, sometimes you don't know what title you should go for? And so let's say, take all of this and give me a list of 10 job titles that I would be good to apply for. Okay. Sometimes you're like, well, what's my job title? You're like, well, you could be an offensive security analyst, a penetration tester, red team operator, and vulnerability assessment analyst, threat exposure management. Like sometimes you forget that you're like, well, I'm this job title, then I'm only looking for this job title. But that job title is also like a bunch of different job titles depending on what industry you're in. And so sometimes just take your own, like here. Oh, watch this. Okay. So I'm going to go over here to ChatGPT. I'm going to take my profile. I'm going to add it and say, analyze my PDF document of my skills and abilities that was listed in my LinkedIn profile. You know what else you could do? You could just go over here to this and not redirect true. This. You know what? Let's just skip the PDF. I don't even have to do that. Here, let's do this. Go to and analyze my skills and abilities that are listed in my LinkedIn profile and tell me the top 10 career titles I should apply for. Okay. So if you're not like, what jobs do I have skills in? Well, based on your profile, director of content marketing, cool. Director of developer relations, head of community, product marketing director, brand marketing, head of education, director of customer education, customer enablement, creative director, head of content, and director of growth marketing. Okay. So now I'm like, okay, so it broadens my scope of like, hey, I can start looking for, and then I could be like, I could maybe ask it to help me find some companies that might be good at doing that. Okay. If that's new information for you, cool. If you've already thought of it, fantastic. Moving on. All right. So we get down here to this section. We have activity, but I'm going to go here. All right. Well done, Aaron. Okay. I love that you have this like senior SOC, security operations analyst, and escalation lead supporting enterprise monitoring, alert triage, incident response, threat hunting sim. Cool. I like when you give a little context at the beginning of the job. Like, hey, this is what I do. Like, remember that, what do I get paid for? Like, there's a little bit of like, here's what I do. So I like when that starts off the actual company that you work for. What do you do at that company? And then after that, then go into the bullet points where you like serve as. Now, I will give you a little bit of feedback here, Aaron. Page breaks, or no, not page breaks, returns, page returns are your friends, especially if you go over 3 lines. So let me show you what that looks like. I do the same thing. I fall into the same category, and I had to do the same thing when it comes to mine. If there's short bursts of information like this, it's okay for it to be just bullet point, bullet point, bullet point, bullet point. But when you get into like multiple sentences, it is better for you to break that up with small returns. So that way it's easy for me to read. Because going back to your profile, Aaron, this becomes hard. Like it all just becomes jumbled around together. So let's go over here to Tom's. Tom, please, this goes for everybody. Please start every sentence off with a bullet point with a action verb, right? Investigate, conduct, improve. Well done, Aaron. So same, but you need that bullet point. It's okay. Go to Aaron's profile, copy Aaron's bullet point. Go to my profile, copy my bullet point, and then just bring it in. It is incredibly important that you have that bullet point in there. I can't stress it enough how much human beings need bullet points. Okay. So leadership and team management also, Tom, if this is in the past tense, it's took initiative and overseeing, maintained strong, stayed proactive, led and motivated a team. So you want to make sure that you are actively like using the proper tense of what you did, not what you're doing. And then we get down here, and this is, I can't even see where things start and where things end. Here, that's good. Be consistent. I mean, be consistent across it if you're going to do it. it's good that you're starting off, but never, ever, 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 ever effectively diagnose and effectively diagnose, right? You don't need two back to back. You're like, hey, you effectively diagnosed, and then maybe give a list of bullet points of things that you effectively diagnosed. But you're not doing like effectively diagnosed, effectively diagnosed. That's just not. Okay, we have activity here. Cool. Then we get down here to this section. Look at the size of that bullet point, everybody. Damn. All right. So the only thing I would recommend is, first of all, I love the size of that bullet point. I would just put that return in between each one of those to make it easy for me to see, because for some reason the bullet point is actually the only thing I can see right now. I was like, look at the bullet point. It is so pretty. Okay. All right. So we get over here to Jordan's. Let's go down to Jordan's. Jordan has nothing. You worked there for 1 year and 7 months and you have nothing. What does a director of photography do? You can go over here and say, give me a list of, give me an exhaustive list of what a director of photography for commercials and other projects would put on their resume and a bulleted list. And bullet points. Keep each one concise and conversational, no periods at the end. All right, so what you're going to get, Jordan, is a list of all the things that a director of cinematography does. Okay, so he puts all this in the list. Cool, that's a lot of stuff, right? Like now summarize all of these into just 5 bullet points. Feel free to be expressive in your tone and expressive in your tone. Okay. All right, bring stories, brands, and ideas to life through cinematic visuals and capture attention and lead every aspect of, partner with directors, balance artistic vision, solve creative technical problems. All right, so Jordan, when you go back over here, like this is where you like, hey, give me an exhaustive list. Fantastic. Now put it in a, like summarize it in like 5 bullet points so I can put it in this section here. So Jordan, I would recommend you do this for every single thing that you've done in your past, right? So you go through here and you're like, I did this at this company, I did this at this company, I did this at this company. You don't have to repeat them. So you might want to put like 5 here, a couple there, a couple here, a couple there, based on what you did. Let's go down here to this one. Security analyst. All right. So same thing, go to ChatGPT, give me an exhaustive list of what a security analyst does at a company that's very similar to this size, what this does. And it's going to give you an exhaustive list and then say, please summarize this into like the top 6 and then make sure it is accurate. I cannot stress this enough. Make sure that whatever you put into your LinkedIn profile is accurate, not just something that ChatGPT came up with. Okay, Ben, let's go down to what Ben put. Senior security researcher at Oracle. Yep, you would take, what does a senior security researcher at a very large company do? Well, you do ethical hacking, code assessments. Like, let's express what that is. Also, one last thing. If you do something where you cannot actually talk about it, say, I did, or I did. Would you just be better? All right. So if I go over here, say, I performed various tasks using, okay, and for up to every once in a while, someone's like, hey, Jason, I can't talk about the work that I did. I was like, I get it. You can't publicly talk about the work that you did. Then say perform various tasks using redacted and redacted for up to redacted endpoints. And then say in that profile, in my actual resume, I will express it, but in a public profile, I redact all information that I feel is sensitive to the company that I work for. Okay. And this is for you who are like, I can't talk about the things I do. It's like, you can, but you can also obfuscate the things that you did in a way that lets the companies that might hire you know that you literally care about critical information to a company by redacting your public profile for the companies that you work for. Okay, so Anthony, let's go over here to Anthony's. Well done. You might just want to split these up with some returns, but provide comprehensive on premises for 50 users, administer Microsoft 365, design, deploy. Cool. All right. And that's going to wrap it up for today. Today was a test live stream. Thank you so much for being a part of the test live stream. This was making sure that I could actually get YouTube working, that Twitch was working again, that LinkedIn Live was working. And so wherever you're coming from today, thank you so much for joining me. Let me say this before I get going. These are the Job Hunt Like a Hacker live streams. Please invite your friends. It's not just for cybersecurity. It's not just for people who want to be SOC analysts and penetration testers. It is for anybody because getting a job is universal. Getting a job is something that we all want and all have. I mean, we may not want it, but we actually want to eat and we want to provide for our families. And so that's why it's a thing that we want. And so as I leave here today, stop sharing that. Okay. Thank you so much for joining me. Thanks for trusting me with your time. Thanks for coming to get a profile reviewed. And if I wasn't able to review your profile today, maybe next time. My goal is to show up on Wednesdays and Fridays and help the best I can. Currently, 339 people have come back to let me know that they found jobs. And so I hope that you're number 340, 341, 342, 343, 343, and so on. So thank you so much. Share this with anyone that you think might find value in it. And good luck changing up your profiles. Because remember, it's a landing page. You're doing an advertising campaign for your skills, your abilities, and your experience. And the only way to let people know you exist is to let people know you exist. So don't hesitate. Don't hold back. Let those recruiters, those magical job fairies know that you're a human being that is ready to work. And so thank you for trusting me with your time. I appreciate it. Thank you for humbly coming to learn something today. And I'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.